Hello friends, welcome back. I'm going to read on to Nod. For them, I'm going to pick purple because I think Nod is very sufficiently cool as purple. Let's get into it. This will be the long one because I have to go through like everything they have. Luckily I won't have any like interference or anything. So, quickly build a crane. As you can see, the Nod MCV, very cool. I don't know where they put the glass when they turn into the walker, but I think it's quite funny. But I really like them. It's actually a very stylish MCV, in my opinion. Crane, I like a little more than the GDI crane. One, it fits their aesthetic very well. I mean, I guess the GDI one does fit their aesthetic, but it also looks a little more interesting. I wish it had like a platform it was on instead of just moving crates around in a circle. Let's quickly build up some power plants. Grab these bad boys out. I like the I do like Nod's power plant a little more than GDI's. Preference mainly over the aesthetic they add. Very cool looking like animations with it. Because just the GDI just has like steam coming out of the big open spout. This guy has like the waves in there. It makes me think of more of an electrical generator more than a like fuel-based generator, which I think might be the difference. And if that's true, can't really argue that. I would argue that makes Nod a little bit better in the sense of if they're using electrical generators, then I mean that's a little bit more fuel efficient and environmentally efficient. So by the way, meet Nod's harvesting unit, at least their base one, very fast. They have like a spout on them and everything like that. They're stealth, which makes them like they can hide. Their grabbers are in the back instead of in the front. I like it a little more. It's kind of bug-like in my opinion how it collects, so it's very interesting. I do definitely think that Nod likes the bug aesthetic a little bit too sometimes. So here's a hand of Nod. We're gonna grab the operation center instead so I can just power up stuff. Actually it's not, just for the sake of, you know, tier 1, tier 2 and all that. So we're gonna go through them all now. I'm just gonna go through each one as their tiers come. So here's their militant squads. So militants and the militant rocket squads. Voice wise, I really like them as well. They're perfect. Both of them are. I think voice wise, they're shows like a whole robe for the militant squad, but as you look at them a little closer, it looks like they're sleeveless actually, which I like a little bit. You'd figure that these guys like a lot of heat coming off rockets and such, probably tan all over their arms. Militant squad by themselves, definitely a better militant squad than the first game, in my opinion. The first game's militant squads were definitely like militants, like they were very much like armed militia more than like well put together army, but these guys are actually showing that they're like really serious about fighting. They have their own like armor now. They have like a new armor system where it's like very more like combative and everything. Their guns are actually pretty not bad looking in the little thing. If it moves, kill it. I'm very confused where you guys are storing rockets. I kind of wish they had little backpacks that had like rockets on the back. That way it like makes a little more sense how they're just pumping out rockets instead of just having the two. We're gonna quickly grab the Saboteur, which he is cool. He's the first unit you're introduced for Nod. You don't see any other unit first if you've played only third game. He's very cool. Glass dome thing and everything. He's got the claw arm. He looks like Claw from Gadget. So but very cool. He has a little Nod symbol on his chest. I don't think he doesn't have any upgrades in this one. He does have upgrades for the other ones, I believe. So that's all tier 1 infantry. We're going to show you quickly the three tiers here. So let's quickly build up another power plant because I'm going to need it. The attack bikes, the equivalent of the pit bulls for Nod. By the way, as I spoke about it before, they did fix this so that the Raider buggies don't just like flop the thing back up and down when because they produce so quickly. The 3 units we probably might have seen the most in this playthrough because I definitely utilized them a fair amount. Rocket bikes, very cool. I don't like that the rider is exposed because that argues for like. I would argue that a sniper team could probably take out a rocket bike very fast, or attack bike. They get the Tiberium core missile, which you'll see later. Scorpion tanks. My favorite design for the Scorpion tank, other than I kind of wish they had an actual, like, the gun would be on the back, like a Scorpion tail. I think that would be a little more interesting. Maybe add like one more digit right here, and that's the gun. It just like follows and everything like that. But otherwise, very nice looking. I like to try like tank treads. That's a very tongue twistery thing. Try tank tread. But very nice. They also get the laser capacitor upgrade and some dozer blades, which I'll show later. And lastly, the Raider buggy, which are your staple infantry, base infantry killer, which I really like. Very fast, very useful against like air units too. Yeah, infantry and aircraft, especially with laser capacitor upgrade, having like a lot of them can take out most air units relatively quickly. They're the equivalent, in my opinion, to the Venoms. They're like ground Venoms, pretty much. And Venoms are air ones. So we're going to quickly grab the Operations Center. Let's actually make him build it, because I would like to show you this. What he looks like, so I don't have to rebuild him or anything like that. Very cool. Way cooler than the GDI, I'd have to argue. Definitely prefer him over just the big honkin' like vehicle like that. Let's quickly put him in the back over there. We put him out so we can have our map. I just like having the map. Let's show you the liquid Tiberium core first, because those are the first upgrades I usually think of when I build up the Operations Center. Very cool. And to be honest, all that, like, I still don't think it loses the idea of electrical rather than fuel based, because this just feels like a cooling system or a more like optimized operating system for the power plant. Let's see. So we now have tier 2. The upgrades are based on the shredder turrets and the dozer blades. We'll grab those real quick. The 2 new tier 2s. No, I'll do you later. Don't worry about that. Fanatics, arguably my least favorite unit in Nod's arsenal, because I don't really utilize them. They're extremely useful versus vehicles and buildings, but they're also extremely not like armored enough to be able to, like, I would consider them. They lose all effectiveness because they could rather be taken out by like any infantry rather that are good against infantry. I guess taking out like a mammoth tank would be extremely. Actually, I've seen mammoth tanks being taken out pretty quick by these guys, so that's the only place I would see them being extremely effective. Buildings, if there was no defenses or anything. Good design, pretty much what you would expect from them and everything. These bad boys right here, by the way, the Black Hand, your staple flame-based unit, where I think they get the Black Hand subclass from. It's definitely like people really like these guys. They are so armored. Like, I'm not kidding. They will take a hit, as you saw in my GDI one. Like, even like a turret couldn't take them out fast enough. So they're very useful for even just tanking things in the front. Quad blade or dozer blades. You can now see that these bad boys have a little front face now. That also works for the Gotta use them so much. Reckoners. Reckoners are a little bit more useful, I think, but I definitely like them having it. It allows them to also take on heavy infantry, so imagine a zone trooper, they can finally run them over with these things, which makes them arguably extremely useful because speed killing and all that. I'm going to show you a shredder turret real fast. So here's a shredder turret. Normally they just have the 3 spouts. It almost looks like they shoot like needles, which would kind of fit the kind of shooting style it does, because it doesn't shoot like a normal like rapid firing gun. They shoot like big bursts of like needles almost. Very much like them. Let's have him on defense. He will just shoot there forever now. Actually, let's show how effective they are, especially how non-effective they are against turrets. So as you see, they took the one out there. Like, I'm fine with that. Okay, but yeah, you see that like their health is like half with just 2 shots, and that's like a slow firing infantry killer. Could you imagine GDI's like rapid fire turret? That definitely takes these guys out really quick. Showed off these 2. I'll show off the next 3. I am glad they added a beam cannon as a tier 2. Beam cannons are not quite as effective as I would like them to be, especially considering they need tech centers originally. So meet the equivalent. Flame tanks, they're also kind of beefy, but they do pack a punch when they get taken down. Block my board. There we go. Reckoners, you've seen a ton of in the base game, or the base playthrough of this. Hold on. Sorry about that. Quick check. We do have the beam cannon out now. I didn't talk too much about the Reckoner yet, but I'll talk about them in a second. Also, let's quickly build out the laser turret to show them off as well. Very nice. I would argue a support support attack vehicle, because I wouldn't use them primarily for just their attacking, to be honest. I'd probably use their charge defenses to make obelisks faster for one, which is very useful, or you can use reflector beam, which means venom. You can shoot off of venoms, but I think you have to be very close to the venoms, which makes it also not quite as useful. Nice little design. I would change them up a little bit to make them look a little more funky, in my opinion. Look at these guys. These are the laser capacitors, or laser turrets. They also get this upgrade as well. Any of the 3 turret boys get these upgrades. Not bad design, in my opinion. I do like him. I do like the little 2-prong laser conduit, everything. Let's quickly talk a little bit about the Reckoner real fast. I do like the Reckoner. Extremely useful vehicle. I've learned from watching quite a few gameplay stuff of people like fighting AI and everything, that they utilize these guys as like a new form of defense, because you can strap them on these guys and then they'll just keep healing them, making them almost the only thing that could take them out is taking out the structure, and AI typically don't take out the structure first. They'll try to take out a unit first. Really good design. I really like them. You can see 3 firing holes at the back. They can normally hold 2. When they deploy, they can hold 3. Now he cannot move no longer, but he is currently a stationary defense garrisonable structure. So that's it. Let's also grab the last boy out here and grab him as well. Overall, I do like these guys a bit more than GDI. I'm going to quickly show you the SAM turrets, which are very cool. They also take the bug-like appearance, in my opinion, the more bug-like-ish. Very good. Solid at taking out any error unit. Plus, not to mention, it is a little bit more proficient than the AA turret, because the AA is like one little stationary spot, can shoot 1. These guys can actively actually shoot more than 1 if they are more than 1 and gets in their radius faster. very useful by all means. Gonna pull the these bad boys out. They of course have their still standard too, and you all know my favorite boy. He is my all-around purpose unit. He can shoot both land and air. The addition of the laser upgrade also makes them extremely deadly to even big units when you have so many of them. 900 is probably an average price. Wouldn't change their appearance really. Really solid. You're gonna see later when I play Tiberian Twilight that they still kept the Venoms technically, but boy are they hideous in that game. So this is, I believe, all the tier 2 units now. I don't think I can build any more at the moment. I do think these guys only need a secret shrine, so I don't think they're like a 2.5 kind of unit. They don't quite require the tier 3 structure of the tech lab, but they don't, you can't just get them off the operations center either. So we're going to quickly grab them, pop him down, and show off the shadow team. Also, let's quickly build up the Tiberium silo to show you what that looks like. I like it a little more than the GIs because of it being more like cylindrical. We'll say that no matter what I say about their electrical generator idea, they do cancel out with their extreme love for Tiberium and the fact that they love a radioactive crystal that grows out of the ground. No matter what, that is not fun for the environment or anything like that. So here is the shadow team. These bad boys are pretty useful. They're the sniper team's alternative. They're good against infantry, of course. A little faster, I think, than the sniper team, and they also have the ability to put explosive charges on buildings, making them very good against buildings. And also the artillery beacon, which allows specters to bombard from a distance. And I think that's a distance, actually. It's not like the beam cannon thing or anything. Upgrade-wise, this gives us the Confessors, which add a Confessor leader, kind of like the Confessor Cabals from the next sub-faction, and Tiberium Fusion, which allows these boys to walk through Tiberium without being hurt. Extremely useful. I'm going to talk about the air upgrades because I realize they have them. The signature generator, not useful in my opinion. It's only useful in multiplayer, and even then, maybe I don't know how much the AI is going to get confused by that, and also the disruption pod, which allows the vertical bombers to disrupt them. Friendly units in the area become stealth. It can be very useful, especially when you're about to attack. Dropping it off would be really good. Here are the two units that get the Confessor upgrade. They also get the Tiberium Infusion. I think these do too. Here's a Confessor, and adds an extra unit to them, making it actually quite useful. Makes these guys definitely more combative ready, and makes these guys also more good against infantry too. You get like one unit that can attack them. I don't like his big old helmet, if I'm being completely honest. His big old helmet on the off, not too bad. Looks kind of cool, but in unit he looks like he's got a big old dome on his face. And now you can see they can walk through Tiberium. With that, that Tylo Nita thing came on right at the moment where I'm like, did they really not get immunity? They did though. Very useful. It means you can even bring enemy infantry into Tiberium and fight them in that and get a bonus constant damage. I think this is it for really quick. Gonna check if the signature generator adds anything to the Venom's actual appearance. Oh, it does. It gives them a little bulb on top. That's cute. It's like little projectors of multiple of them. As you can see on the map, let's bring him over by himself. I just want to show you kind of what it looks like on the map, because that's all it affects really. So you can see down here, All it does is make them look like there's more than one on the map. Not super useful. It would be kind of cool if it added like actual looking infantry, and then that way like it would maybe confuse even actual players. So now we do need the tech center. In the meantime, let's build the disruption tower. Nod's like specific defense. So no other like normally they all have like the big defense structure. This is their special one. What it does is it allows your entire base to be stealth, which is very useful. There's some AI that won't even like come and find you if this is the case. I'm also going to build the voice of Kane real fast because this is going to take a little bit longer. The voice of Kane is a very useful structure, but only one can be built. So I would argue that you might need to add more than one. But it does allow your infantry to be more combat ready in this space. So it's only really good as a like unit defense structure. He does allow you to listen to Kane on the battlefield though. Let's put this bad boy back here. Really like their tech center, but at the same time there is probably some tech buildings that are like the cosmetic buildings they have in the game that I really like as well. But I really like them. So we got the EMP coils, the laser capacitors, and the Tiberium core missiles. Those are the 3 upgrades. By the way, I'm going to show you quickly the last unit, the commando, their commando. I do not like, by the way, before she even comes out, that she's not at all armored. You have really cool armor, Nod. Why would you have your commando running around in just like a tank top? If even a tank top. It's like a strapless top with a bandolier. Here she is. As you can see, she's like a naturally stealth unit, even without the she stealths like normally when she just stands still, making her like very useful against base. She can destroy structures and walkers just like the GI commando can. So the behemoth or the juggernauts. They can call for transport, very useful. Extremely versatile at killing infantry, just like the commando was. The other commando. Now we have every access to the last 3 and the vertical bomber. So we're going to show them off real quick. EMP coils. You can see he gets 2 little spikes on him now, and he can EMP. As you can see, it shut down that. He also shuts down himself. Useful as like a last stance kind of thing. Stealth tank, very useful unit. Attack air and land, also extremely effective at air. Stealth naturally. They also get the Tiberium core missile upgrade when you get them. Also, here's a vertical bomber. Very cool, and also based on a real bomber. So, real life application right there. Now you can see these bad boys, they do actually get their tail attack. So getting the laser capacitor upgrade in my idea is extremely beneficial compared to leaving them as is. Very fast, definitely packs a bit more of a punch. Now you get to see all of their land vehicles. Spectres, my favorite land unit because of how extremely devastating they can be, especially as a defense. You're going to learn slowly, not even slowly, you actually probably already have an idea. I'm a turtle when I play. I stay and make bases. I really like the concept of a strong defense. You could ask friends of mine, theoretically, because I play with them all the time, especially RTSs, that if I'm part of the team, I'm bound to be a defense character or defense player. You may also see that in one of the other RTSs I have going to play at some point. It's not the next game on my mind after Tiberian Twilight, but it is like up in the future. I really like it as a game, especially if I can get the mod to work for it, which doesn't change the game in really any retrospect. It does add some extra stuff to it though. But Tiberium core missiles, now these little guys have a little red on them, or not a little red, a little green on them to show that they have the Tiberium missiles, which I can't imagine being at all fun to get hit with. These guys have it as well, and lastly, these guys have it as well, making them a lot more devastating. I would arguably add some more defensive upgrades for this little guy, by the way. a bit of these guys would have a nicer time having a defensive upgrade. Let's see, what else do we have? That's pretty much all the units that are in the game for Nod, at least base Nod. Except one boy that I have to show off, so we're gonna grab his real quick. In the meantime, also please build the Tiberium chemical plant, which adds some nice little powers and everything. Very useful powers at that. Gotten all the upgrades so far. Let's also pump out the obelisk to show him off. Generally not a bad base. This is something I could imagine seeing, like if more neatly placed as like an actual thing. Here is pretty much in concept a second war factory, much bigger specifically because of the one unit produces. Here's a Tiberium chemical plant. You see it adds the catalyst missile, seed Tiberium, Tiberium vapor bomb, and also the vein detonation. And let's also place him down. Probably the coolest of the structures. Quickly show you like the backside. Very nice, extremely aesthetic. Allows the beam cannons. I can show you that actual power real quick. There he is. So let's charge him up. You can show that he has a building in his path, so we're gonna make him attack a building real quick. So as you can see, he shoots like almost twice as fast actually. Very useful. Bring the big boy out here. And as you can see, it takes out a building very quickly. Very nice. I didn't talk about the Avatar. Why did I not talk about him? I just looked at him. He's just standing here waiting. Hey Avatar, how you doing? The coolest walker, in my opinion. He's so cool. I like his dopey little front face like that. I do like it a lot. Extremely devastating, especially because he has this power. He can take technology from other units. You do lose those units in the process, but it does allow for a much more powerful avatar. So you can see he's going to go over here. They will try to usually get out of the way. That allows for a mobile stealth generator when you put that on him. If you do take just know that he takes like a minuscule amount of damage. I hear him over there. We're not going to worry about that quite yet. As you can see, yeah, he's going to come over here and quickly give him a little bit of healing. He takes a little bit of damage. He takes that. The beam cannon. I argue the beam cannon's primary use for me, he tries to run. His primary use for me is to allow the avatar to take the beam cannon, which allows him to fire twice as quickly naturally. And lastly, the stealth tank, which gives him a mobile. I lied about the attack bike. The attack bike allows him stealth detection. That allows him mobile stealth. So now you have a fully equipped avatar. I'm going to quickly make him attack this building just to show him off a little bit because he is a very cool unit. So now you see he shoots twice as quick. You can see the damage he naturally does by himself. Here's our boy, the Redeemer. Introduced in this game as the super unit. I love him. His design is actually phenomenal. I love his design so much. The arguably weakest of the three big units. You can see over to that building now. He can only also take like I think 4 units. You could take the militant squad, just a gun turret, kind of useful. Probably the least out of the 4. Rocket turret, very useful as he then allows them to attack air units, which I think all 3 of these guys should be allowed. I'm sorry. To attack air units naturally. It doesn't make sense, especially say strong versus everything. I don't think he can naturally attack air units. Flame hand, so black hand, you get the flame turret, which is very useful. Makes them even more devastating to buildings, and the saboteur is just self-repair. I really like that one myself. The only time the saboteur is not really useful in these guys is if you can manage to get him up to heroic without the saboteur, then he just heals himself naturally. Very useful nonetheless. let's see, is there anything else I want to show off? There is some things. I'm not going to send the Temple of Nod out, but I am going to show you him. I'm also going to produce this bad boy, which is their equivalent of the like resupply. So put him like right here if I can. I believe in you. I lied. You're going here. So here's theirs. I like it. It looks more like lily pads almost. I have a weird lily pad or clover idea for this guy, but he's really cool. I can even show what he looks like when I land. I should have done this with the Firehawks on the other one. But as you see, he comes back, comes down, lands. You can just stay there. Very useful for, of course, once again, forward bases rather than your main base. I wish this guy gave upgrades. I wish every support building gave upgrades because I like upgrades personally a lot. We have built up the Temple of Nod, which instead of like, it's very funny because it is quite fitting for Nod, but you of course have seen that GDI gets the ion cannon, which is a very fitting super weapon. You're not like I wouldn't ever complain about the ion cannon not being fitting, but it's so funny that this guy gets it just gets a nuke, like just a nuclear missile. That's all it does. It just captured, I assume either captured or somehow engineered a nuclear missile, and that's what your super weapon is, which is quite funny. I think it's quite fitting for a militant faction like this. This also allows the master computer countermeasures radar and all EMP affected buildings are returned to normal status. So if you get nuked or EMP'd randomly, say they take out your generators like this, and you're like all your defenses go down, you have like a big force on your way, you can just do that and it resets them back up. Here's the I kind of actually like the GDI one a little more. He looks like he has no oomph to him at all. He just moves around. I can show you unpack. He's a very... I do like him when he's unpacked, though. His unpacked version is way cooler, in my opinion, than the GDI's version. I'm going to quickly show you some powers. I don't think I can unless I can see it, though. So we're going to bring... Actually, I don't have to, because there's a power I believe they have. Is it this guy? Tiberium Seed. You always see me use Tiberium Seed. I do it over here real fast just to show off. I thought they had a thing where it allows you to see all the oh, it's Skrin that has that. Never mind. Tiberium Spike over there. Look at that guy. Don't really get to show you. All these do Tiberium based damage. All of them are pretty destructive. The Catalyst Missile, when you put it on Tiberium, just explodes all the Tiberium. Very useful, especially economically devastating more than anything else. I think I've shown off everything for base Nod. I believe I have. Just quick old check. Showing off everything here, everything there, and everything there. All, I would argue, very nice. Also, purple superior than red, in my opinion, for Nod. Not a whole lot I would change. Some aesthetic differences I would probably change minorly with any unit. Some units are very good, like him. I argue I can't change him too much. He's so cool. He's not to change. You're going to see him in Tiberium Twilight, and he's also ugly in that one. But luckily now I have a computer that can run it. I remember seeing Tiberium Twilight like off the bat. It was hideous because my computer just couldn't run it that well. Now I have a computer that can run it because the game's not very taxing at all. I missed him doing his fun spin. He does a spin normally. Like he's bored sitting there doing nothing. He just twirls. He also likes to look at his foot for some reason. He also apparently adjusts a nut or something on his leg. there he goes. I kind of wanted to show that off because it's funny. I imagine the operator of the Redeemer just like, I'm bored. Spin in a circle. So that seems to be it. Gotta quickly exit out, and you will be seeing the other ones very soon. So as always, I'd like to ask you to subscribe. If you do, I think you're wonderful. If you don't, I still think you're wonderful, so it's completely up to you. If you'd like to like and comment, that'd be wonderful as well, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.